What's going on, guys? Once again, we find ourselves in the cab of this brand new 2022 GMC Denali Ultimate pickup truck with the 3.0 liter diesel engine. Very cool. You know, I have my wife here next to me, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we feel about this truck. We've had it now for about a week. They're going to be picking it up today. And yeah, there's a lot of things that we like about it. There's some interesting things about it, and you know, some things that might surprise you. So hang tight. I'll be right back. So again, I got my wife here with me.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
And yeah, we are, you know, really enjoying this truck. It's really nice. But before I start talking about some of the things I talk about, I'm going to let my wife talk about it and let her kind of talk about some of the things that she likes about the truck and maybe some things that she thinks could have been done differently.
Okay, so the beauty of it, I love it. It's a very beautiful truck. I like the two-tone colors that they did. This design is pretty cool. And then the stitching also on the leather, it's very nice. Puts a lot of detail on it.
Let me show you something real quick. You see right there above where you're just pointing at, it looks like a label on the glove box. Right there. That's actually the coordinates, the longitude and latitude coordinates for the Denali.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, they also put it on the door stills. Whenever you open the door, those little shiny plates below the door.
I was asking JD if they had something like this, but in the like an SUV version, which we did try one, which was the
Yukon Denali, and that was the Yukon Denali XL, which was the extra long version of it.
That was a beautiful one. Now on that one, I remember that right here with the dashboard. This is I remember I couldn't really see over that one.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, I could always put a little cushion under. You know, it brought me up a little bit.
I think what you found out, especially in the Denali, because that truck came equipped with air suspension, so we could change through some of the drive settings. You have pretty much the same type of drive settings. Oh, hold on, wrong button. Where you can go through these different modes right here. And when we were in the off-road mode with the air suspension, it really, really made the suspension feel just really plush, real comfortable. In this truck, it doesn't make it much of a difference when you change the settings, honestly. I'm sure it does to some degree, but in terms of comfort, it feels pretty much the same in all the settings.
Yeah, it's a very nice ride, very comfortable. I wouldn't mind, you know, taking a long trip on this thing.
So what do you like about it, though? So, you know, the navigation screen, some of the other features, massaging seats. I know the massaging seats you like more than what are in your Expedition, as well as what's in my truck. But what specifically kind of stands out to you on this truck?
I do like the screen. I couldn't tell where the volume knob was here just at a quick glance the other day that you were on there on the phone, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was too loud. But it's so it's kind of unique to see it's such a small tiny little button for the
right here. Seems like they could have made a larger button or even kind of centered it a little bit more so it's easier for a passenger to reach if they have to.
Yeah, no, but other than that, I mean, I like all the space that you get here. Now the console here is nice, it's roomy. It sort of looks like it's a little bit wider than my truck, but I think you said it's actually a couple of inches.
Yeah, it's roughly the same. It might be a little bit wider, but what really makes it appear that way is this whole center console area, this whole, you know, infotainment, because everything is kind of laid out horizontally instead of vertically, and it gives you this really wide feeling inside of here. So yeah, the other thing that's a little bit different is like the pockets on your Expedition. I noticed that the sides of the center console kind of go in a little bit more, so you have more access to those pockets on the side, and that might be part of it too. It makes the center console feel much narrower on your Expedition than it does in here.
Yeah, you're right, and the side pockets are a little bit more narrow. I know I can fit quite a bit of stuff on the side, especially like a roll of paper towels. But overall, I do like this truck. Now driving around with you, that really did give me the feel of how it rides on rough roads, but also as well as the smooth roads. Yeah. So, and now the self-driving feature, that's pretty cool. The only time I think I would want to use that is if we're going on a long trip, not too many curves. But I don't really see myself using that. I get a little too nervous
Yeah, but do you
Cruise
trust
control,
it?
yes,
Do you
but-
trust it a little bit more though? Just, I know that you personally may not use it, but I tried to use it a little bit more, and sometimes she'd be looking out the window, so I'd turn it on, and then she'd look back, and I have my hands off the steering wheel. But do you feel a little bit more confident in the technology now that you've at least been in a vehicle that's used it?
Yes, I do. I feel a lot more confident with that. I still can't believe the technologies that has come into these trucks nowadays.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
It's amazing, you know, how it changes lanes by itself, how it knows. I guess it uses all the sensors.
Yeah,
and,
sensors, cameras, laser sensors, everything.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Yeah, but I do feel more comfortable using that feature now. You know, being in the car with it.
Now here's one. So many times she has commented on how quiet the 3-liter diesel engine is in this truck, and that's mainly because she gets out of my truck. So my truck having a 6.7-liter diesel engine, which is roughly twice plus the size of this engine. How do you feel about the diesel so far? What do you think about it?
I like the quieter sound of it. That's why I was considering in trying to get something like this with a diesel. It was getting, what, 29 miles per gallon the other night?
Yeah, yesterday we were just driving normally on the highway, and we were getting like 29 miles per gallon in it, which is pretty insane, to be honest. You're going to pay a lot more for diesel right now, roughly $1 more per gallon, but you know, it gives you some level of return if you're not going to be towing. Once you start towing with a truck like this, you're going to see that fuel economy drop significantly, because again, these half-ton diesels, they're not really made for the same type of towing applications that you might normally think in a really big diesel pickup truck. So with this, it's mainly meant for fuel economy.
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind that. I don't see myself towing anything really heavy, but I would love to have a diesel like this. What is this? A
3-liter diesel.
A 3-liter.
Duramax diesel.
Yeah, and I do like the rear view mirror here where you can see behind you now, because I always put the baby in the center seat, and I really can't see past her seat on the rear view
Same
mirror.
here.
So that helps.
It really does help, and you really have to get used to it because it's not the same perspective you would see in a normal mirror. They try to make it that way, but again, you can't move your head around and see different angles or anything, so it's just this fixed position, but it works well. All right, yeah, so, you know, having a camera for a rear view mirror has some perks. It certainly gives you some clarity behind the back seat if you have a child seat back there like we do. So it can come in really handy. It's kind of weird sometimes because sometimes you want to lean your head over and look at the mirror and you realize that it's not a mirror, it's a camera. But again, if you want to turn it into a mirror, you just flip it down and it turns into a mirror. So very cool technology. I guess I'll give you my impressions on it so far since I've been spending the majority of the time driving this vehicle. Acceleration-wise, driver comfort, all the driving dynamics, you know, it feels very on par with the gas engine. It doesn't feel like a super high power gas engine like you might see with the 6.2-liter gas V8, but it certainly does not feel sluggish. There were several times where we've had to pass or overtake a vehicle, get onto, you know, the expressway or the interstate and had to accelerate pretty quickly, and I didn't feel as if it was lacking in any way. I didn't feel as if I was missing any power, and the fact is you save some money by going with this diesel engine, and you also get really good fuel economy. So we've been waiting in line here for a while, so the little fuel economy gauge there has definitely dropped, but yeah, I'd say on average we're probably getting close to 28-29 miles per gallon in this vehicle, which is pretty phenomenal considering it's a full-size pickup truck with a relatively small yet powerful 3-liter diesel engine. As far as the infotainment system, you know, there's things I like about it and things I don't like about it. I'll tell you what I like about it. I like the Google Maps. It gives me more information than most maps, most navigation systems, and I like that you can do a search just like you can on your smartphone. You just hit a button here, you type in what you're looking for, it helps find it, and it gets you to where you're going. Now, if you're in poor coverage, if you don't have good cellular coverage, then you might have a challenge with that, but so far it's worked flawlessly for me. Their icons right here, I think they could have probably done that a little bit better, because you have to kind of think about what the icon is. They made them a little bit too retro. Like, that's your phone, that's your music, and again, I think that they probably could have made it a little bit more traditional in terms of your icons, just so you know what you're pressing, because there's several times where I've just glanced at this, I've tried to get to a screen, and it was a little bit more difficult than I think it should have been. So they have the real estate to do it. They have the screen area to do it. It would just be nice if they made it a little bit easier, a little bit more intuitive. And then, of course, you got little buttons and functions to split your screen open. You have all sorts of different displays you can put over here, so you can have two sets of information on your screen at any given time, which is nice. Air conditioning controls, looks absolutely beautiful. It is really well laid out, but at the same time, it's a lot of buttons. It really is a lot of buttons. It takes some time when you're looking at it to really find the specific button you're looking for. Now, eventually, if you own a truck like this, you're gonna get muscle memory. You're gonna start realizing, okay, well, I know that the air recirculation's right here. I know that if I wanna turn up and down the vent, it's right here. But again, they kind of place things in a kind of a cluttered way right here, where you have all your buttons kind of surrounding your fan speeds. It'd be nice if these were just dedicated fan speed buttons down here, and I think it probably would have laid out a little bit better if they took a lot of these buttons and just made a straight row of buttons right here. Just a little easier to get to if you're getting to a button in a hurry, because again, everything kind of surrounds your climate control adjustment knobs. The wood grain, the dash, everything looks absolutely gorgeous. I almost feel as if the driver's seat in this vehicle goes up a little higher than it does in the Denali. So it might be okay for my wife. I'd have to get her in the driver's seat here so she can raise it up, just to kind of see if it can get to a height that's adequate for her, because this hump right here, I mean, if you're looking like this, if this is your height and you're looking, it can be kind of difficult because you can't even see the license plate of the vehicle in front of you. But from where I'm sitting, it's no problem at all. So it's just something to think about. If you see these nifty lights blinking on the steering wheel, this is all part of the system that helps you with Super Cruise. So it can make sure you're looking straight ahead, you're not turning your head, and it gives you the ability to engage Super Cruise, which is that self-driving feature or hands-free driving feature, but then also determines if you're paying attention to the road and not looking over at the person next to you, because we actually tested the system. And yeah, if I'm just staring at my wife talking to her, it actually will disengage the Super Cruise feature. So you really have to keep an eye on what's going on with the road. It's just a convenient way to, I guess, take your hands off the steering wheel if you want to. And then the front dash area, I love this. I love how all this is laid out. I love the fact that you can go through different types of menu options. You can really see what you want to see, the way you want to see it. It's so much more intuitive, so much more information than you can get out of my system on my F450 or most of the other systems I've seen. And it's really easy to navigate through all of the different menus, so that's really nice. Again, I'm not so sure about having this button right here. It drops all your windows down at the same time. I could see that being a problem if you have a big mug and you're going through a drive-through and you take a sip from your mug and then you go through a car wash and you go to put your mug down here and you accidentally hit this button. Then all of a sudden, all your windows start dropping down. And there's no way to get them to all go back up with that button. So you still have to go over to your button controls on the side and raise your windows back up. And it seems as if that is just a really bad car wash accident waiting to happen. Aside from that, though, the truck is really nice. You know, the interior changes that were made to this truck are absolutely spot on. They did a phenomenal job with the layout. It feels like a super high-end luxury vehicle. I mean, this feels like the interior of what you might anticipate a Bentley or something like that feeling like. It's just, they did a really, really good job making this a luxurious, appointed truck from the inside. They just nailed it. And there are little things, right? Little icons, things like that that might differ for some folks in terms of what you like or dislike. For me, though, you know, it's hard to say that they could have done things a heck of a lot different. So even when I critique little things, they've really still done a good job with it. It's just, you know, little personal preferences, because you hop into one truck and you're like, hey, they did it really good in that truck for me. Then you get into another truck and you're like, well, maybe they could have done things a little bit differently. But if you were in the market for a ultra luxury, super high trim, half-ton pickup truck, the Denali Ultimate should certainly be on your list, because this is one heck of a beautiful truck. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you've enjoyed this little wrap-up of this vehicle. We've had it for a while now. If you want to see information relating to the towing capacity, the power, torque, all of that stuff, we have other videos on this truck when we first got it, but they'll be picking it up today. Just wanted to give you a quick overview of what it's all about. Anyways, guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
See you later, guys.